Hello duelists, it's Tombox here. Welcome to another week with MST.TV. Really appreciate you guys coming back. And today we have a very solid topic, I would say. This topic is about stealing. And like any card game or any hobby that has any sort of monetary value, there are going to be thieves, and it's going to draw in these kind of crowd because maybe these guys are desperate, they just don't have the money to afford these cards, and they want to make a quick buck off of someone else. In the end, it just leaves a bad aftertaste, like it feels bad, it's going to damage the community, and ultimately someone's going to quit the game, and that's awful. So this is going to be 5 different ways of theft prevention that you can do, and most of it's actually pretty much common sense. However, most of these methods we learned after the fact, so this is coming from our experience of after the fact having our stuff stolen. So here we go. So number 1, don't put your backpack out of your sight. See, this is back in 2009 when MST.TV Trist, he lost his entire binder, and it was basically fishermaned out of his backpack. Someone just fished it out. He had his backpack on his back, and I think someone opened up the zipper and just like pulled the binder out, and that was it. And we don't know when it happened. It could have been when he was walking around. It could have been when he was playing the back in the old days when you have sneak peeks, you actually have full-on tournaments. It could have been when he hung it on his chair. If you hang it on your chair, when you're so focused on your game, what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to sense what's going on behind you. And that's when people get the opportunity to take stuff out of your bag. Your content could be just relieved at that point, which really sucks. And Trist basically quit the game for a good 2 months before we helped him with a bit of a recovery process. But overall, he got his binder jacked. It was devastating to anyone, and it really sucks. So just keep your backpack in sight. If you can't have it like around you during like a regional match or like I guess a tier 2 event, you can put it between your legs where you can still feel it. If you feel like it's getting tugged on or pulled on, then you know that someone's trying to actually take your stuff. At least you can still sense where your bag is. So number 2, don't trade during a game. So this applies more to locals, and I got my stuff stolen like this. So back at locals, I was playing Black Wings. This is when Bryonac was still illegal. I had about 3-4 Bryonacs at the time because I traded up towards them. Basically traded away a couple of my Dark Arm Dragons. And, well, I was just playing my Black Wings, having a casual game, teaching a friend how to play the game. And these guys just walked up and said, "Hey, do you have any trades?" They seem like nice people. You know, of course, thieves don't be able to come up like, "Haha, I'm gonna steal your stuff." Like, they come up as nice people, like, "Oh, can I see your binder? Do you have any trades?" Very standard, typical encounters, very common interactions. And then while I was trading, it was like, "Oh man, these are really nice." And then I just focused on teaching my friend how to play, and I guess that's when they took advantage of me, where they pulled out about 2 of my Bryonacs. And Bryonacs was like pretty expensive. It was like a mid-range card, and I believe I also lost one of my Solemn Judgments at the time, and that really stung. So I basically lost about $120 or so. And I was furious. I was just looking for it. I was like, "Oh, did I misplace it?" And then I realized there's only one opportunity where people could have taken stuff from me, is when I was focusing on that game. So don't trade while you're having a game. This is more for locals. Obviously, you're not going to trade during a regional match or like a tier 2 event match, but that was devastating to me, and never again will I trade during a match. So if they want your cards, they're gonna come after the fact, after the game's done. If they don't want to look at your stuff anymore, then why did they ask to begin with, right? So yeah, don't trade during a match, and therefore you won't be distracted, and you can keep an eye on all your stuff. Number 3, bring your friends. Having an extra pair of eyes, an extra body does help a lot, especially when you don't want to carry everything to the washroom. Although I would recommend you to take your stuff with you to the washroom. Although your friends can be reliable, and only the friends that you can trust are the ones that this kind of applies to. Now, see, this can be a double-edged sword. If your friends are distracted and you tell them, "Oh man, dude, look after my stuff," that's not good, because if they're distracted, or they want to help you trade for some stuff too, like they take out your binder and then it gets passed around, and at the end of the day the binder is gone, that really sucks. And that's actually what happened to Nishi back at the Shining Victories sneak peek. His binder kind of got moved around. We thought we knew everybody, but apparently we didn't know them well enough, so someone stole the binder, And his binder wasn't exactly cheap either. Like, I think maybe about $500 worth of value in there, and it was just gone. And then that was really upsetting. It almost made him quit the game. Don't pass binders around. Like, even if you bring your friends, bring the ones that you trust and make sure that they're attentive to your stuff if you're going to leave it with them. What happened to Nishi? We helped him recover at YCS Seattle. So the video can be found right here. Well, check the description. This is kind of what it looks like. This is a big surprise. Really, really nice things for the community to do. So if anyone gets their stuff stolen, it's a really nice gesture for the community to kind of gather up and do some sort of recovery attempt. It's really nice gesture. Number 4. Hold on to your cards until the trade is complete. This one is actually very interesting because usually some people, depending on how they like to trade, they usually like to have everything kind of pulled out, you know, pull out the stuff that you want. That's a pretty common term to say, and then we will mark out the values from there. So there was a group of dudes that was trading out of Nishi's binder, and this was actually something that Nishi told me, and it was pretty disturbing of what they tried to do. So these strangers came to my locals. They came to do some trades. I'm not saying all strangers are bad, but they came to trade. And they pulled out some stuff out of Nishi's binder, and it's like, oh, these are nice, and then, oh, I was looking for these. So they pulled up a bunch of stuff, and they were holding on to it. But then at the end, what happened was they pocketed the cards. They closed the binder. It's like, oh, I don't want any of these, and then they closed the binder, kind of like that. And then they took the stuff and put it in their pocket. Luckily, Nishi caught up to them. It was like, oh, so do you still want the stuff? Like, being all like nice and all, without like kind of pointing fingers saying, oh, you stole my stuff, man. So Nishi was being nice and all about it, you know, trying to not escalate the conflict that's going to happen. And the guy's like, oh, I put it back. I didn't want it. And I don't have anything I can't really trade for those. So then Nishi's like, oh, where's my stuff? And he's like, oh, it's still in your binder. Well, what about the stuff in your pocket? So then he opens his other pocket that didn't have the content, and then Nishi just immediately said, no, your other pocket, it's right there. It's sticking out right now. And then he's like, oh, yo, sorry, I didn't know it was there. Like, what kind of excuse is that? Seriously, really despicable actions you're doing here. Like, your excuses are really bad. So basically, he got kicked out of the store right after. And, very upsetting. So if you're gonna do trades, hold on to your stuff until the trade is complete. Like, don't let them hold on to it as much as they would like to hold on to it. That just gives them an opportunity to find some way to misplace your card. Number 5. This is the most common thing, but apparently people still do it, and it also relates to the stuff with friends. It is, don't leave your stuff on the table. Seriously, if you leave your stuff on the table, it's gonna get stolen, because swiping something off of the table is much faster and much stealthier than ravaging through your stuff. This is like already open, it's ready to be taken, and don't do that. I didn't get my stuff stolen like that, but I have seen way too many cases of this. At regionals, there's always going to be an announcement. If you see this deck box that is white that has this signature or this sticker on it, please turn it into the tournament organizer. You hear like these announcements. It's really sad, and someone lost their deck, and usually the deck is much more expensive than the binder. Let's say you lose a Zodiac deck right now. Oh my god, you lose triple barrage? That's like almost $300. And then you like use your D barriers with it. Oh, there is $300 right there altogether. And then your entire extra deck, your Digestor Emeralds, or maybe you're playing Invoked and you lose all your invocations, or worse yet, you lose Minerva. Minerva.deck doesn't feel very good. Any kind of max rarity stuff, it just feels so bad if you just get your deck jacked. Getting your deck jacked is probably feels worse than getting your binder jacked. For most people, unless you're part of dank deals, then different story. Their binders are just way too much. Don't get your stuff stolen. Just, if you're gonna go to the washroom, take your stuff with you. It's just cards. How much weight how annoying is it to actually carry your stuff with you? And even if your friends are there, if they're not attentive, and you tell them to look after your stuff, you're just gonna have unnecessary conflict with your friends. You're just building up a shitty situation. And all this could have been prevented. I'm not saying that it is your fault to blame. Obviously, it's the thief's fault to begin with, but it can be prevented, so whatever we can do, we should prevent it. It's kind of like the insurance company. You know, the insurance company, they always say, it's a preventable accident, so you're still partially at fault. Anyways, okay, so that would be the 5 methods of theft prevention that I would recommend. And here's a bonus one. This one's actually outrageous. So MOS4, MST Open Series number 4, the 4th one that happened last year. Well, this was a crazy story. I was furious about this one because someone came to the event strictly to ambush people. By ambush, I didn't mean like they actually like confronted them and stole all their stuff. That does happen in the States. I haven't seen that happen in Canada yet. Hopefully it never happens. You know, knock on wood. And well, what happened was, after the event ended, a group of my friends, shout out to you guys, you know, Ethan, Vincent, Alvin, and Sam, you guys lost all your stuff, like holy crap. And this is crazy. So they left the event, they drove to a nearby mall, and they went to have dinner. Only to come back to their car and realize that someone busted their window, popped the trunk open, and stole all their backpacks, which included their entire collection. So this was a planned assault, and they came to my event to do it, so I was furious. And in fact, I'm still furious about it. If I know who this guy is, first of all, you'd be banned from my events. Second of all, I will shame you. And, you know, there is a case open. They did call the cops, and there is a case open. If I figure out who you are, I will do everything within my power to get you convicted of your crimes. Seriously, if you show your face, I'm seriously. That's all I got for you guys for theft prevention. If you guys have any other methods of theft prevention, please leave it down in the comment section below, because I don't want anyone to get their stuff stolen. It's the worst feeling ever. And if you have a crazy story yourself about crazy ways that people try to steal from you, leave it down in the comment section as well, because I would like to know what are these crazy ideas that they're coming up with to steal your stuff. Also, share this video with your friends that you feel like they are too chillax about the way that they handle their stuff. Maybe they're always too dependent on you. Send it to them. Maybe this will, you know, awaken them. Maybe this will wake them up, because if they have some valuable stuff and you don't want this conflict where, oh man, I thought you were looking after my stuff, man. I thought you were my bro. Like, if you want to avoid all that unnecessary confrontation after their stuff gets like jacked, yeah, send them this video. Maybe they'll just change their ways. And I'm just hoping that this is like a PSA to help everyone, you know, stay happy within the community while being able to hold on to their own belongings. Until then, whatcha? Hey guys, thanks for watching. And if you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, drop a like and hit the left button over here to subscribe. Or if you want to check out another video from us in the past, click here on the right. And as always, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV.